my name is Graham Hobbs, and I had read a version of A Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Here's what the story is about. Anyway, there's this time traveler that's been spending a lot of time working on a time machine. But all the other people who are in a dinner party weren't very impressed. So, the time traveler decides to show them a model of a time machine, and it took him 2 years to make because it was realistic and it actually had the same reaction as the time machine that he was working on that could carry a person. Anyway, after he pulled the lever on the time machine model, it went back in time and it was gone. They were really amazed. Anyway, first he was gonna ask an editor to tell him about the story of a time machine, and the editor said he would give him lots of money if it was really true. Well, then later, the big time machine was nearly finished. And then, after the time traveler finished it, he went back in a few moments in time and let his supper get cold. After he went back from time, he later had his supper, but had a very uncomfortable time having it. Then he decides to time travel again, but into the future. Then he starts going really fast through time and started to go day and night all over again, and started going quicker. And then years started to pass within less than seconds. And then, after the time machine had spun quickly, and the time traveler was flung out head first. Then he lands somewhere near a landmark that was called the White Sphinx. Then, as he walks around trying to investigate about this, he finds these strange little people that were smaller than him who spoke in a strange language. He didn't...
What were they called?
They were called the Eloi, which are strange types of doll people that wander around. However, the time traveler didn't know a lot of her language. He learned about a little more than 30 words or so. Then he got to join a feast with them, and all they had was fruits. I guess he found out that probably stuff like animals like dogs, cows, pigs, sheep, and lots of other types of animals went extinct over time. So fruit was the only thing they were able to eat. It was still very good though, even though the time traveler still wished he could eat meat. Then he discovers on the time machine they got sent back into the distant future in the year 800 and 2701 AD. However, he thought he was very frightened because he didn't know if the Eloi were peace-loving or filled with cruelty. But he knew there was going to be a dark side that he didn't know about yet. Then he gets to this lake or river, and then he finds this little girl who's in need of help. He rescues her from a river and brings her back to land. He named the little girl Weena. Then Weena started following him. And later they went into a history museum that was abandoned hundreds of thousands of years ago. Everything was all abandoned. Buildings' windows were cracked and busted.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was much pretty worn down, except for the new buildings. Then he starts to think. Then he realizes that the time machine is gone. Probably the Eloi must have brung it somewhere else for him, but they weren't very strong. So he started to think. So he started to think that there was some type of creature that was older and stronger than him, that was able to carry the time machine with just a few of the creatures.
Mm-hmm.
However, later he finds out about. Later he found out about these deathly creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And then he found out that they were inside a well and another place. The time traveler went inside a well, but Weena was very worried.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, after he struck a few matches, there was these strange furry creatures that looked like apes and Yeti mixed together
Mm-hmm.
that were trying to grab him and strangle him to death. The monsters were called Morlocks,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to feed on other Eloi because of a mass animal extinction. They couldn't eat fruits, so they didn't want to eat fruits because the time traveler found out that they were carnivores after he found an old piece of meat.
Mm-hmm.
So the Morlocks had to eat the Eloi to survive. So he escaped quickly and struck a few matches before his last one burned out. He got out of the well just in time and took Weena along with him. Then came the night. However, the Eloi was afraid of the dark because of the Morlocks, because they would sneak out of her hideouts and start trying to snack on Eloi. However, Weena was really scared of the dark, and so does the other Eloi. However, there was still stuff like butterflies, really colorful. There was also this yellow metal chair that he sat on sometimes. And then they decided to get some rest. However, they didn't hear any Morlocks coming up a hill during the night, so they were pretty lucky. Then, when they woke up, they start to try and figure out about how to get the time machine back,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's Weena keep following him. And then,
Are we almost at the
he
end?
found out that the time machine was somewhere in the Morlocks' hideouts. So anyway, soon the day was gone, and they decided to go to sleep. Well, the outside is risky during that time because of the Morlocks, and that they had to find a safe place to sleep, but they weren't able to. They had to risk their lives sleeping outside in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Then, when it became really dark, he noticed the pale blue lights from the Morlocks when he entered the well.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started tugging on the time traveler and Weena, and they tried to make a run for it. At the museum, he found this crowbar just for use as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It's the iron bar. However, Weena started to fall onto the ground. The time traveler tried to get her to wake up, but it looked like if she was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Then he starts to get angry after losing little Lena and starts hitting the Morlocks with the iron bar, knocking himself out dead. However, I don't think they were actually dead. However, one Morlock got near a fire that they had made, and then after they looked at the fire, they just started to go blind and then start dying. So that's why they were in hideouts during the day.
Mhm.
It's because one of their weaknesses is daylight.
Okay, well, how did it end?
However, he went to a strange building, into the strange landmark, which is one of the Morlocks' hideouts.
Mm-hmm.
He found the time machine and went in. However, Morlock started to grab him. Then he traveled back in time. However, he just went more forward in time. And then he found this monstrous crab creature in the later distant future. And before the monstrous crab animal could grab him, he went back in time to his home year, 1900.
Okay.
However, he had dinner
Mm-hmm.
with his other people,
Mhm.
and then after a little while, he went back to the time machine and went back and went into time.
Okay.
And that was the last time everybody ever saw him.
Really?
Nobody knew why he never came back. Maybe he got trapped in the Stone Age with ape like humans.
Mm.
Or maybe
Don't
he
know.
was in the Jurassic Age with tons of reptiles which just started to dominate the land,
Okay.
along with dinosaurs.
All right.
Or
So-
he might have probably gone forward in time to here where she found little Lena and saved her
Oh, okay.
to see if she was really dead or not.
Okay, is that about it?
However, it remains a mystery.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
This book was very cool.
I'm glad we
However,
got
this
it.
is a short version, so there probably might be other stuff that was supposed to be in the original book.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was adapted. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was abridged. But that's great for your age. And maybe later on you can read the real one, the one that's unabridged. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, bye.
Bye.